from Allegheny County. Norah could easily be the future president of the United States, and she loves horses, advocating for important issues, and making sure justice always comes first. She hails from Pittsburgh, so she is the perfect go-to for questions about urban 4-H, but Norah's powerful voice can make a difference all over the world. Put your hands together for the incredible Norah Carter.
It inevitably rains at every single District 10 horse show. But in 2019, it did more than rain. It was a 3-day deluge. I thought I was prepared. Raincoats for myself, rain blankets for my horse, helmet covers, boot covers, even a golf umbrella. And when there is rain, and when there is mud, when there is horses, there is mud. Lots and lots of mud. After many delays, is it not on? One moment, please.
It's at the top. It's at the top.
All right. As I was saying, now that you can hear me, it inevitably rains at every single District 10 horse show. But in 2019, it did more than rain. It was a 3-day deluge. And when there is rain, and when there is horses, there is mud. Lots and lots of mud. I thought I was prepared. A raincoat for me, a rain blanket for my horse, helmet covers, boot covers, even a big golf umbrella. After many delays, they decided that the show must go on. But all of the classes would take place in the covered arena. This so-called covered arena had a gap in the middle. So while it was technically covered, rain still poured in through the center of the ring. The horse I was showing that day, named Penelope, was a rescue. And she had a malformed hoof, which caused her gait difficulties. Ironically enough, I also have gait difficulties due to hip dysplasia and scoliosis. We were a perfect match, and she was a sweet, bomb-proof horse. Well, until that day. We walked out and set out to go to the covered arena, and then it happened, the unexpected. You see, in order to get to the covered arena, you had to traverse a steep, sloping hill. Not a problem for any normal horse and rider, and not a problem for Penelope and I on a normal day. But remember the mud? Yeah. So the unsteady-footed horse and the unsteady-footed rider slip-slided all the way down the hill together. I was pretty shaken up. And Penelope was on high alert. Then we turned in to get into the arena, and what seemed like 100 people and 40 horses were there. It was loud, made even louder by the metal roof. A metal roof, a deluge of rain, you get the idea. Anyways, so Penelope started dancing and prancing around, and my calm voice was doing nothing to soothe her. Although if I'm being honest, I don't think I was very calm myself. And then the conversation started. My trainer, we need to get her out of here, maybe lunch her. My mom, I've never seen her like this. I think we should pull her. Other people, get that horse out of here. For once in my life, I was silent. We took her outside and we lunched her, and she seemed to calm down a wee little bit. Then more conversations. My trainer to my mom, well, it's up to you. My mom to my trainer, well, what do you think? My trainer, well, she could calm down when we get into the arena, or not. Then my mom turned to me, Norah, what do you think? I want you to make the decision. And while I had made many decisions within my 4-H past, this was by far one of the most influential. I began to have a conversation with myself. Well, if I pulled out, what would that say about me? Would it say that I'm safe and practical? Or would it say that I'm scared and cowardly? Well, what's the worst that could happen? I could get thrown. No. The worst that could happen is I would get pulled out. And that happens all the time, and for much less reasons than this Noah's Ark and the tin can scenario. I was going to show. I needed to have confidence in myself and my horse, and at least we could say that we tried. In the first class, well, we survived. A couple hops near the gate Tight reins, pinned ears, the worst back of my entire life, but we survived. When we got out, I had a conversation with Penelope. Good girl, see, that wasn't so bad. Just one more class and then we could be done. The next class was a pleasure class. And in case you don't know, pleasure is one of those events where you have to have nice, loose, relaxed reins, a relaxed horse. Your horse should look like it's pleasurable to ride. This is not a very conducive environment to a horse with a gait difference, but when we went into the arena, we actually did more than survive. We had a decent ride. And since it was a split class and I was in the first split, I was called back. What? This does not happen often with Penelope and I in pleasure. Penelope, I said, I lied. Now we just have one more class. So we went back into the arena, and for the first time that day, I breathed and she breathed. My reins loosened, her ears relaxed, and our ride was very good, and I'm very proud of how we did. So as we were waiting for pinning, I had a conversation with myself once again. You made the right decision. Be proud of yourself and your horse. I cannot wait to get out of here. As the placings were getting called, 8th, 7th, it was pretty clear we weren't going to be named. 6th, 5th, and that was okay. 4th, 3rd, I mean, just an hour ago, I thought I was gonna have to pull out of the full thing. 2nd, and from Allegheny County, Norah Carter and Penelope. And just like that, the disabled horse and her disabled rider made it to states in the pouring rain. The definition of a conversation is a talk between two or more people that's usually informal and where information is exchanged. It was the conversations I had on that day that taught me the lessons, not only from that day, but throughout my entire time in 4-H. Things can go both ways. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. You need to make decisions, have confidence in yourself, take risks. Don't be a danger to others. What conversations are you having? When you talk to people, do you rule them in or out? When you talk to yourself, is it as a friend or as more of a critic? Now, I could end the story here and it would feel good. Girl and horse overcome challenges and win. But that is not my full story. I wish I could say that I've always had the confidence and skill to overcome the challenges I've faced. But I'm gonna keep it real, that is simply not the case. I've let negative self-talk and anxiety dominate me at times. And during those times, I've had the right conversations with the right people at the right times. For example, Lynn Ford, my club leader. At 7 years old, she invited me to come hand out ribbons with her at a local horse show. She said to me, "We've never had therapeutic riders before, but we'll make it work." And from that day on, she has supported me in any goal I've had within this organization. Thank you, Lynn. My conversations with Matthew Crutchman. He has opened my eyes to the world beyond just horseback riding within 4-H. He's encouraged me to go to SLC, go to Capitol Days, maybe start a political engagement club, help out with county council, maybe even run for state council. And I've done all of those things. Thank you, Matt. The conversations I've had with my parents. Where are your boots? When are you gonna go clean the stall? Do I actually have to drive up to Penn State again? But really, we're so proud of you. Look at all that you've accomplished. Thank you, Mom and Dad. The conversations I've had with my non-4-H friends. Horse girl, oh, horse girl, you have another 4-H meeting? Are you kidding? But in time, Norah, I saw you in the paper. Congratulations. I heard about your Diamond Clover project. You did that during a pandemic? That's so cool. Thanks, guys. And last but not least, the conversations I've had with fellow state council members. You have embraced my ideas and reeled me in when I've needed to be. You've made me laugh at just the right times. Together, we have made a strong and diverse group of women, and I wouldn't have changed that for anything. But most importantly, we've truly embraced the theme of Be Different together. Thanks, guys. We are at a time in history where the very act of having a conversation has changed. We text and we snap and we Zoom and we call and we stop. I once again ask you, what conversations are you having? The global pandemic, the political climate, it has given us permission to be divisive, to be mean to each other. Do not fall into that. Don't rule people out. Don't rule people out based on their race, their gender, their sexuality, their political background, or their religion. Rule them out out of nothing. Rule them all in. My parents can tell you that I love talking. From a young age, I would strike up a conversation with a grocery store clerk or a waitress. And I'm here to tell you that you have something to gain by everyone you have a conversation with in 4-H. The clover buds, the elderly woman who points out the clover on your sweater and says that she used to be in 4-H. Your judges, your leaders, your peers. I want to leave you with a final thought. It's important to be asking yourself, what conversations am I having? But you also need to be asking yourself, what conversations am I having with myself? I was raised by a clinical psychologist, and although I roll my eyes at many of the things she has told me, there is truth in the fact that how you talk to yourself impacts your future behavior. Whether it's like that day in 2019, surrounded by all those people, or when you're by yourself and feel most alone. Be kind to yourself, have confidence where it's warranted, and take calculated risks. And never stop asking yourself, what conversations am I having? Thank you.